Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Smith here, the one-legged wonder or amputee cyclist, missing my right leg above the knee. And for those of you who've not met me, I do also have metal in that leg from an accident. And so I don't think the doctors are ever going to take that metal out. I'd like them to, but it's been there about a year. And so these motorcycles, they're not my bikes. My bike is this bike right here. And so today's rides, we're gonna stick to pavement. We're not gonna be on gravel, and we're in St. Joe. It's a big stop on the Chisholm Trail, historical town, all kinds of fascinating history, but the Chisholm Trail came right through here. It was a supply station, and today's ride's gonna be about 56 miles long. And we're gonna head north of here until we get to a little town called Spanish Fort. And then we're gonna hook back to Nocona. And there's a lot of other unincorporated towns that we're gonna go through on the way, like Illinois Bend, Capps Corner, Roland, Valley View, other little towns. I can't remember the names of all of them, but we'll talk about them as we go through. And so without further chit chat, let's get on the road. Let's go. I gotta decide exactly how I wanna get out of St. Joe. I wanna take this paved road up here in front of us, or do I wanna go this way? I think I'll go this way. That way we can see the St. Joe downtown square a little better as we leave town. Right here is the way we'll go. Looks like we'll have pavement most of the way to our main state highway we're gonna leave town on. Got the police station here. You better watch your speed going through St. Joe. They don't like you to speed through their town. It's probably one of their big sources of income is tickets. So back in the olden days when the Chisholm Trail came through here, they made money off the cowboys, you know, with the saloons and all the things that go along with that. The cattle drives that came through St. Joe were a big economic engine for this community. And that's why it's so cool that they restored the downtown square, because a lot of those buildings existed way back then. All right, so here's our pavement, state highway. We're gonna leave town on right here. Beautiful town. Beautiful time of day. That's a neat piece of yard art right back there. A wagon wheel perched on a pipe stuck in the ground with things hanging down from it. I guess plants, potted plants, I don't know. Pots for the plants. There weren't any plants in the pots. Yeah, we're on the back end of St. Joe already. It's a pretty small town. And we got the oldest cemetery in St. Joe over to our left right here. It's a historical marker that talks about it. I talk about how I read this historical marker in a different video of mine, but yeah, they've got tombstones there. It's real old. There are settlers buried there there are no tombstones to mark them. It goes like so far back that there were more Indians here than European settlers when the first people were buried there, and they were killed by Indians. The settlers were killed by Indians, and that's who's buried there. And then later generations, it's the oldest cemetery in St. Joe. Late summer, September. It's September 11th, y'all, so it's a sad day to remember the 20-year anniversary, 2021, of the attacks on New York City and our Pentagon, Twin Towers. So. But we've had so much rain the last few months, and now it's finally starting to dry out. This ground here the grass is turning brown. So in Gainesville, where I'm from, you know, I decided to drive here and start the ride in St. Joe. But back in Gainesville, we've obviously had more rain because the grass is greener there. Further you go west, from this point on, the less rainfall in general that Texas receives. We're in far north Texas, and we are headed towards the Red River right now. And we're gonna learn about Spanish Fort when we go through there. I'm gonna stop and read the historical markers. I did a little research last night. I Googled Spanish Fort, and it's really fascinating. I didn't learn anywhere close to what all there is to learn, but what I did learn is real fascinating. So here's the other St. Joe Cemetery. It's very old as well. So just because that other one is the oldest, you know, this one is still very old. Doesn't mean the other one's the only old one. That one's clearly bigger. But Spanish Fort has a cemetery too, a pretty big one. And we will, if we can find it, we'll look at it. We'll look at it and I'll talk a little bit about it. But it's just, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I was able to find out through my little bit of research yesterday, and then we'll talk more when we get there. But Spanish Fort was originally a Native American settlement with about 6,000 what are called Teovaya Indians, or Native Americans. And so the Teovaya settled Spanish Fort first. Wait for this car. The Teovaya Indians were from Kansas and southern Nebraska, and they moved here to Spanish Fort in about 1750. That's the year they moved, their tribe. And they had the reason they did that, I'm not sure, but it had something to do with their relationship with the Comanche Indians. So the Teovaya Indians were later called the Wichita Indians, the Wichita tribe. So we'll read the details on these historical markers when we get there, but what I remember is that ultimately, I mean, they had kind of a fortification there. They flew the French flag and they fought the Spanish, you know, through their alliance with the French. And what happened was they got in this battle with the Spanish army and they won, and they got two Spanish cannons, and they built this fortress on the Red River that essentially was a part of the Red River. Those of you who know much about the Red River know that it changes course dramatically. And what it did, the way it was at that point in time, got a car coming up from behind me. I'm gonna wait for it. When the Teovaya Indians lived there, they chose it because the river formed a moat on either side of an island, kind of an island. The river went around it, so they lived on this island, and the river effectively created a moat around it. And so that was a kind of a strategic military fortress, you know, to have a moat protecting your village. But their village was so big, you know, with 6,000 Native Americans, that they set up on both sides of the Red River. And so Spanish Fort, where we're going, is the Texas side. But when, you know, they were in numerous battles with Europeans, raids, stealing horses from the Spanish. They farmed and they hunted buffalo. They're kind of a dual, you know, usually Native Americans were either hunter-gatherers or farmers, but they did both. You gotta watch this hill here. Not familiar with this road, so gotta pay attention. We're going downhill, we got a curve. Cool, it's pretty. The rock on the left, you can see the rock in the side of this hill up here. I ride my brakes a little bit. I don't want to go too fast down this hill. Great view, but man, oh man, I could get going fast. Too fast, too furiously, too easily. Beautiful area, beautiful area. So all this area was Native American area. But this Indian tribe, the Teovaya, they were so big and so powerful, and what really decimated them was smallpox. And so smallpox arrived in 1778, and then it just kept hitting them year after year until they were pretty much decimated by at least Spanish Fort. You know, they abandoned Spanish Fort in the early 1800s, but they kept fighting until like 1870s. But they did abandon Spanish Fort early 1800s, and then the settlers, European settlers, when they discovered it, there were ruins. You know, it was such a big Native American community with the cannons and everything, and they just fortified it, and so there were ruins. And when the Europeans discovered it, long after the Native Americans had abandoned it, they thought it was a Spanish fort, but it was really a Native American fort, and so they called it Spanish Fort. That's what they named it. So that's why it's called Spanish Fort, is because the ruins that were discovered there by the Europeans, they felt it was an old Spanish fort, but it was a Native American place, fort. That was lovely. He decided to blow smoke in my face. But I got his license plate, I think, so maybe I'll share that with everybody since he wants to share his smoke with me. This downhill is nice. Now we're going uphill. We've got about 2,400 feet of climbing on this ride. A lot of ups and downs. Beautiful views. Like I said, I've never done this route, so I'm excited to do it. But before I do routes like this, I like to try to study a little bit of the history. And I'll do it again and again, I'm sure, over the years. Be able to tell you more and more about it. As I do the rides, you know, I see stuff and then I go back and I'm like, okay, what was that? What's the story on that? So. North Texas Hill Country. Neat area. All right, so I was talking about Spanish Fort, a little bit of its history, and then they're really a powerful Native American tribe that fought off the Europeans and conducted raids on settlers effectively for a long time until they were hit with smallpox, because they had guns and horses and all the same stuff that the settlers had, like as far as ammunition and firepower, from what I've read. And really what did in this big tribal community of Spanish Fort was smallpox. It just kept coming through and killing in waves. And so they abandoned it. Settlers discovered it years after they abandoned it, thought it was a Spanish fortress that was abandoned, named it Spanish Fort. So then it became the crossing point from Texas to Oklahoma for the Chisholm Trail. And so it became like an Old West stopping point, important stop on the Chisholm Trail, just like St. Joe behind us. But since it was right on the Red River, there were a lot of outlaws that came over from Indian Territory, which is Oklahoma. You know, they go back and forth. So there were saloons, lawlessness, people just like, there's a lot of stories about just how many people were just shot in bar fights in saloons. Like, they pretty much fill up the cemetery. Murders, suicides, people, you know, in the Old West, this is where a lot of this craziness was going on, as far as people dying young in blazes of glory, you know. So we may see some of those tombstones. I don't know. They think they probably just carved, yeah, they just carved the ones that are that old out of like sandstone, which has washed away. All right, got a car coming up from behind. Let it pass. I look forward to seeing Spanish Fort. Apparently there were as many as 1,000 people there, living there at one time. Now there's like 50 people living there at most, maybe 40. So it's, the cattle drives moved further to the west, and the trains came, you know, they started the trains, and then, you know, life changes with time. So there's no industry, and so people just left. But we'll see what they left. Some of these buildings, there was a post office there was a school. We'll probably see all that when we get there. All that's abandoned now. The next community we'll come through will be Cap's Corner. Like I said, 56 miles, pretty long ride, but it'll be like at about the halfway point when we get to Spanish Fort. Place I don't recall ever going to before. Definitely have never been on a bicycle. Kitty cat. Childress Road. Okay, I've been on that road before. So this little stretch of highway I've actually been on my gravel roads, but not past Childress Road, not here. So yeah, my gravel rides, I've done a little jog over from one gravel road to the other back there, you know, on that section of road. I just didn't recognize it until we got to Childress Road. But now we're heading on. Got some flags flying up here. Pretty good tailwind right now, so that means it's going to be a headwind on our way back towards Nocona. Nocona was a Comanche chief Nocona, and so there's just a lot of history with the Native Americans intertwined with the history of the Europeans, because the Europeans fought the Native Americans for the land, and so alliances were formed. And ultimately, okay, so Chief Nocona, who Nocona is named after, was the father of Kawana Parker. And so Kawana Parker was the last great Comanche leader who was able to negotiate surrender and moving on to reservations, you know, because he was the son of a woman who had been abducted by the Native Americans. Woman, she lived for 30 years with the Native Americans, abducted as a child, kidnapped. I guess her parents were killed, you know, settlers. She married Chief Nocona, had a son, some kid, I don't know how many kids, but Kawana Parker was one of them. So he was ultimately able to communicate with both sides, the Native American side and the European side, and negotiate surrender of the Comanche Indians, the ones that were left after years and years of fighting, to surrender and move on to a reservation. So his mother, I forget her name. Most people know who her name is in Texas, but I just forget right now. She was taken back into European society after 30 years of living with Native Americans. And she didn't want to go back. She didn't want to go back and live with the Europeans because she had a wife and kids, I mean a husband and kids, and she saw herself as Native American, that she probably forgot how to speak English. So she tried to escape several times and go back to live with the Comanches, but she kept getting recaptured. Oh, we gotta climb this hill. But yeah, Kawana Parker's mom, I don't know if she ever saw her family again all together. I guess she saw Kawana Parker, but his story is like beyond being a Comanche chief. You know, he's a good, smart businessman, I think, and Kawana, Texas is named after him. And so he ultimately, when he died, he had his mother dug up and reburied next to him where he was going to be buried. So there, I don't know where that is, but it's all stuff you can look up. But yeah, as I ride my bike through here, I can see why this was really attractive land for the Native Americans and the settlers. You know, it's awesome. Awesome area. There's a lot of fighting over it that happened. Now the grass seems to be getting greener than it was when we first left St. Joe. I don't know if that's just because of the choice of grass that they decided to plant here, or if it's because it rained a little more further north, closer to the Red River. No trespassing, no hunting. That's what it says on that fence, that gate. I kind of assume if there's no trespassing, there's also no hunting, but I guess people trespass and hunt. And they think, oh, well, you know, it said no trespassing, but it didn't say no hunting, so I don't know. I don't know what kind of these landowners have had to deal with. I just can't imagine somebody just pulling up their truck right here and jumping over the fence and saying, oh, I'm just gonna go hunting, you know, on this private land. But I guess that happens, otherwise these landowners wouldn't be posting signs specifically say no hunting. Can't think of anything more disrespectful to a landowner than to just show up not knowing them or anything and start hunting on their land. You know, bring your gun, start shooting wildlife on somebody's private property. So I would never consider doing something like that. Oh, man. This hill's a long one, but we're getting close to Cap's Corner. Once we get to the top of this hill, we're in Cap's Corner area. Would like to go hunting at a good place. You know, I've got kids and I'd love to teach them to hunt. So I can see how the temptation is there, but I can't imagine just doing that, trespassing. Just hunting on private land without permission. With that said, if you see this video and you want to let me and my kids come hunting, let us know. We'd love to work an arrangement out. Alright, so we're coming upon Cap's Corner. This is Cap's Corner. Looks like if we turn left, we could get to Nocona on this road right here, but we're gonna turn left further up ahead, like as we dance along the Red River. We're not gonna be able to go any further north before we head west. And so this is Cap's Corner. Got some kind of electrical grid, power grid right here. And I guess this corner is Cap's Corner. Maybe that corner is Cap's Corner. But Viola Road, Rock Bluff. That's a pretty cool place. It looks like it used to be like a gas station. They've converted it into a house. But the last time I did a gravel ride, I came up from that gravel road and then headed back behind us, the direction from whence we've come. And now we're heading north towards Illinois Bend. But yeah, this is Cap's Corner. Caps Corner unincorporated area. Nice day to ride. I could do without the automobile traffic, but at least it's not too bad. It's a Saturday, so people who are out here generally are just either they live here or they just want to go out for a drive. A beautiful area. A good place to go sightseeing. So still in the Caps Corner area. We got this sign right here. It's a cool little place here. But here's a sign, Illinois Bend, 6 miles. The hay patch. Hay patch. Not the hay patch ranch, just the hay patch. Right there to the left. So the annoying thing about today is I forgot my little mount. I put a mount right here on my handlebars for my cell phone, and I can navigate as I go. And so now I'm having to navigate off of memory. I forgot my mount to put my cell phone on, the handlebars. I forgot that at home. So when I got to St. Joe, I realized I'm not going to be able to watch and navigate as I drive through here. So my cell phone is in the saddlebag under my seat, so it's not easily accessible. The phone is turned on, it should track my ride, but got some people on the porch here. Some Caps Corner people. Oh, they're calling their dog. They were afraid he was gonna chase me, so that's good. They called their dog, made sure he didn't chase me. But yeah, my cell phone is under, in my saddlebag, so it'll track my ride. I'll be able to know exactly how far and how fast and how much climbing I did when I take it out when the ride is over. But for now, I can't just look down and glance down right here on my handlebars as usual, as I would normally do, to see how far we've gone at any given point in time. So those road signs are useful, knowing that one back there saying we're 6 miles from Illinois Bend. It kind of gives me an idea of where we're at. We're doing this ride totally off of memory, memorizing the route. Should be paved the whole way, should be pavement, but it's kind of rough right here, and I know it's going to get rougher when we get farther north and west. And if we really want to see Spanish Fort the way it, the entire community, we're going to have to get on a little bit of gravel. So plan on trying to do that. This bike, it's a hybrid. It can handle a little bit of gravel, just nothing like the mountain bike that I normally use to do gravel roads. We got a little bit of a climb. That's what bike riding is. It's ups and downs, just constantly climbing and going downhill, climbing, going down over and over again. It's a cool gravel road. Ha. That truck was blowing some black smoke, not intentionally, just because the engine was struggling. But luckily we got some wind to blow it out of the way. Yeah, I gotta be careful with a truck like that because his trailer was wider than his truck, and so if he's not paying attention, then I could get clipped by the trailer. So that's why I got over as far to the right as I could. But he couldn't get as far to the left as I would have liked because, you know, he couldn't see over the hill. So kind of a dangerous situation. Four winds north, what it said. We're coming upon a junction in the road where we could turn right and go back to Munster. And that's a possibility. We could have gone to Munster and then gone from Munster to St. Joe. That would have been a good loop to do too. But that's not our plan today. But some people, when they do the German Fest bicycle rally, when they get here, they turn off and go to Munster. This road isn't on the official German Fest route, but it runs parallel to the one that is. And so when you take this road and go back that way, it makes like a longer, like 70 or 80 or 75 mile route. It turns the you know, because the 60-mile route is as if you take the other road, but this road, taking this road makes it a little longer. But we're not going to the right, we're going straight ahead to Illinois Bend. Yeah, it's a funny, interesting junction of three roads, or two roads. Interesting the way they come together. Illinois Bend, 3 miles away now. Stanford Road right here is a road that I've done gravel rides on. Gone both ways down this road. So So those gravel rides, they just kind of, you know, in addition to rides like this, you pretty much cover every kind of road there is and get to really know the area. So I know people out here, you know, because I've met them on gravel rides. I don't like the traffic on the pavement like this, but one thing I do like is I go faster. You go a lot faster on pavement with a hybrid bike like this with skinnier tires, skinnier wheels. You just go a lot faster. It adds a few miles per hour to the overall speed compared to going down the gravel roads, because it's just less friction and I guess less weight. The bike's a little lighter. So you go faster. That's an interesting cabin there to our right. Got a windmill. It's cool. Doesn't look like anybody lives in it. Maybe they do. They obviously mow the lawn. But yeah, that's a cool old homestead. I like it. It's historic. Oh, this is the guy who passed me a little while ago. His trailer is a little wider than his truck, so that's why he got kind of close to me. But he's gonna move some big hay bales, and when he does that, it's gonna be even wider. So I have to watch for him. We gotta be getting awfully close to Illinois Bend. All right, I see Illinois Bend. It's right in front of us. It's got a long, fascinating history too. And on one of my other videos, I went through and read some of the historical markers, but one thing I haven't done is just take off on that gravel road towards Illinois Bend. It loops around along the river, and I'm gonna do that eventually, just haven't done it yet. So much history is lost with the people, you know, the people who built Illinois Bend and lived in Spanish Fort. A lot of the history is just, you know, it's just not recorded. So when the people die, then the history's lost. It's real sad. Yeah, this is Illinois Bend. Right there. The old schoolhouse, community center, all that stuff. The Illinois Bend Community Club. There's no substitute for just sitting down and talking with people who've lived through events and history. And unfortunately, some events happen most cool events happen so far in the past that all the people who experienced those events are no longer with us. So but riding the bicycle, for me, it makes me feel like I'm able to kind of see the world the way they saw it, this environment, you know, because they didn't have the insulation of a standard automobile. A lot of those people, you know, it's before automobiles were invented, so they were riding horses or on foot, you know, and so even though I'm on a bike, I'm still using my own power and feeling the land, the breeze, the smells, the sounds. Just it's my way of feeling like I'm in touch with the past. because nature is the way it was. You know, it's not just a whole lot different. You got species that go extinct, and landscape that changed a little, but places like this, I don't think have changed a whole lot. Oh, going up a pretty steep hill. I'm using my trekking pole to kind of help me up. Illinois Bend Road and Cemetery up here. One of these days we'll check that out, but I don't think we're gonna check out the Illinois Bend Cemetery today. Yeah, down there's the Illinois Bend Cemetery. I'd love to hear what those people have to say, but they are resting in peace, hopefully. They're not going to be able to tell me what they have to say. We got to appreciate people while they're here. He's blowing some smoke. Then we got two horses over here to the right behind the hay bale. Yeah, big pretty horses. White horses. I don't know, those might be draft horses. I don't know. I think they're just standard size horses, but maybe not. It's hard to tell, you know, when you're out here and you don't know exactly how far away something is that you're looking at. So we passed Illinois Bend. The next community we come to will be Spanish Fort, but before we do that, we're gonna come to this road that leads to this really awesome bridge. I would love to go look at that, but I've done that in other videos, or at least one other video that I've uploaded, and that road goes over the Red River into Oklahoma. It's Courtney, Oklahoma. That's the next town on the other side of the Red River, which we're not going to, but I'll point out that road to Courtney, because it's such a cool bridge. Great view of the Red River from that bridge. It's like hardly any traffic at all on it. Nice state highway with no traffic. Maybe Red River Ranch. That's what it says on that gate. So we've made it 16 miles from St. Joe. That's what that sign back there says. So That's good. We know we've gone 16 miles so far. All right, we got the sign saying we're headed in the right direction if we're going to Nocona and Spanish Fort. All right, this car in front of us is turning down the road I was talking about, the one that goes to Oklahoma. If you follow that car, you'll go to Courtney, Oklahoma, and over the coolest bridge. It's just a really awesome view of the Red River from it. The road to Courtney in Oklahoma. And we continue on northwest. Well, it's a chip seal highway. It's kind of rough, but we're going down a steep hill now. Lake Nocona is 13 miles away. We're gonna go around Lake Nocona. I don't think we'll even see Lake Nocona, but we will go around it. Looks like the front gate to Jurassic Park up here on our left. I'll get a closer look at that here in a second. But it's a high game fence ranch, so they've got things that are like wild animals, exotic animals they don't want jumping over the fence. So it's a tall fence. Wildlife management corporate. So I guess some kind of wildlife back there. Right, exotic wildlife. Oh, I can see the Red River, y'all. You'll see that in front of me, that sand. That is the Red River. So we're getting real close to Spanish Fort, I guess. real close to the Red River. I can see how if you're, you know, on a cattle drive, that view that we saw back there would be a real welcome sight. Seeing this kind of easy sloping decline down to the Red River. Probably an easy place to cross right around here. But Spanish Fort is where it happened. So I haven't seen a Spanish Fort sign yet. So we may be away. I mean, we may have a ways to go. We got to get down this little decline, then we got a big hill to climb in front of us. So that's going to take us some energy to get up that hill. But I bet there's a good view once we get to the top of it. This whole ride is in Montague County. St. Joe and Nocona and everything north of it that we're seeing on this ride is in Montague County. All right, now we've got to struggle up this hill. Well, we'll just embrace that struggle and be grateful for it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are not with us today, who've passed away, who would love to be above ground, struggling like I'm doing right now. They would do anything for a struggle like this, you know, just to be able to breathe and feel it. It's a beautiful place. Wild all around us. All right, now I'm gonna use my trekking pole because I've got it geared down as much as it'll go. Just gonna have to fight up to the top of this hill. Almost to the top. Got a car or truck coming up from behind. Nice little gravel road off here to the right. Oh, it's a driveway, it looks like. All right, so we're at the top. Well, we're almost to the top. Still got to go up a little, but man, I can see the Red River through these trees right here. That's awesome. Got to be real close to Spanish Fort. I haven't seen any signs, but it's got to be it. Coming up real close. Maybe these people live in the first house
as we come into Spanish Fort. I don't know, but that Red River is awesome. I wish we could see right through these trees because it would be an awesome view. Cool place they've got here. Oh yeah, now we're gonna be able to see the Red River right here. Beyond that flag and windmill, that's the Red River. Cool, huh? Awesome, that's Oklahoma there on the other side. So we gotta be real close to Spanish Fort. Nice new hay bales. Well, that would get all my cows through the winter. Good farmland here. Of course, you know, if you're gonna have 6,000 Native Americans living in one place, you got to be able to farm. You got to have good farmland. So that's what they did. They grew squash and corn, tobacco. You know, I read about this. They know what crops this Teovaya Indian tribe farmed, and those are some of the crops: tobacco, corn, beans, and squash. So $17.50, that's what you'd have seen. You see Native Americans out here farming those crops right here. And of course, they'd have probably killed you. I don't know, if you show up on a bicycle, they'd have thought you were some kind of god, maybe. Until they shot you with an arrow, they'd probably say, let's test that theory. Then you'd be dead. So we're better off living in 2021. But wouldn't it be a cool sight to see? Everybody who's seen that site is dead. And they didn't have GoPros back then, so all we have are stories to go by. I'm gonna cover up my face with my mask. That's just gonna protect it from the sun. Protects the back of my neck and face from the sun. So if my voice is a little muffled now, that's why. All right, I guess we're not in Spanish Fort yet, and so haven't seen any signs, but we know we're headed in the right direction. So we got a little bit of a break right here. We're going down this hill. Keep my eyes peeled for deer and wildlife as we go down this hill. Got to ride the brakes a little bit though. Too easy to get going too fast. On this chip seal, I don't trust it enough to go real fast on it. green grass under those pecan trees. Pecan and oak trees. Liberty Chapel Cemetery Road to our left. Liberty Chapel Cemetery Road. Didn't say anything about Spanish Fort. I know we're headed that way. Gotta be getting close. There's Liberty Chapel Cemetery Road. All right, I see this sign up ahead of us. Okay, it's going to tell us what to do. I'm coming to a T. Which way do we go? It says we'll turn right. Spanish Fort is the road we take. We got to go right to get to Spanish Fort. And then if we wanted to go to Lake Nocona, we would turn left. So maybe some other day we'll do that, but not today. Spanish Fort, luckily that sign is still there. Just barely, looks like a high wind came in. Or maybe, no, somebody ran into it is what happened. Because it's bent at the bottom. Somebody crashed into it. Alright, so it didn't say how far Spanish Fort is, but it did say that we're on the right track. All right, here we go. South 103 is what this road's called. And this will take us to Spanish Fort, the massive ancient Native American civilization. Unfortunately, the ruins that were found when they named it Spanish Fort, when the Europeans named it Spanish Fort, they had all these cattle drives and farmers farming the land, and they, from what I understand, just kind of plowed over the ruins, lost track of the cannons, and it was an amazing. It had to have gotten flooded by the Red River. I mean, the historical account is that they had made a moat around this community with the Red River. And so all I can figure, if you look at Google Maps at the Red River, you can tell how it just winds around and changes course over the centuries. It kind of scars the earth. And so what it looks like to me is there was an island in the middle of the Red River, and that's the only way I could see. that it would be possible to dig a moat around your fortification, you know, and use the Red River. You just actually would build your fortification on an island in the middle of the Red River. So historical accounts are that that's what they did, but it also says they had, you know, 6,000 Native Americans setting up civilization communities on both sides of the Red River here, and Spanish Fort is just the Texas side. Smooth sailing, not too steep either. I don't feel like I have to ride the brakes right here. The way the Native Americans lived is just fascinating to me, because they, you know, to have a civilization or a community with 6,000 people and no development, they had to have relied heavily on the land, and the land had to have provided heavily for them. And that's why the buffalo were so important. You know, the buffalo were a food source that just lived wild. All they had to do is hunt it. But by not having fences and just allowing the whole country to be wild and undeveloped, the herds could just become massive and support groups of people like the Native Americans who founded Spanish Fort. To be able to support, you know, on primitive technology, 6,000 people, they had to have been able to really farm and hunt buffalo. Buffalo had to be really important, being able to hunt them. Had to have been a lot of buffalo to support 6,000 people with no refrigeration. Challenging. It would have been challenging times. For us, anyway, it would have been real challenging. Oh, we got a guy over here walking under this windmill. Gate. Hell. About to the top of the hill. Then it just kind of flattens out. It goes uphill a little bit more. LLL River Ranch, no trespassing. I have a feeling that Spanish Fort is really close. Just a feeling. Could be wrong, but we got the houses. Starting to see some houses. Beautiful big fields. York Road is what this sign in front of us says. So next road to our left is York Road. Oh, this is beautiful. Nice and windy too. Beautiful area. Yep, it's for sale. This field over here is for sale. So, man, yeah, it's pretty place. I don't know how many acres it said it was, but look at that. Green grass and pecan trees. Just a pretty windy. I would guess, you know, with this breeze, you know, you've got Oklahoma over there across the Red River, and there's really nothing to stop the wind, so you probably had a good breeze. You know, back in the olden days, they didn't have air conditioning, so they're stuck out in this weather, whatever it is. So I'm guessing it would be nice to have a breeze, be up high like this, because that would keep the mosquito population down. You don't usually have mosquitoes when the breeze is constant. Sheep, we got sheep out here in this field. Baby sheep, mama sheep. Sheep under the trees in the shade, sheep out in the sun. Highway intersection ahead. All right, we'll see what that is. I haven't seen any Spanish Fort signs, but I think we're coming into Spanish Fort. I think we are. A bunch of sheep over there. Bah, sheep. We just gotta watch out for dogs with all these houses around here. There's probably dogs too. Yeah, I think this is Spanish Fort, y'all. This sign up in front of us will tell. Yeah, this is Spanish Fort. This is it. Prairie View and Nocona is that way. But this is Spanish Fort. I don't see a sign, but I know this has to be it. So we could go down this road to explore some of Spanish Fort. Nocona Rural Fire Department. Spanish Fort Station. So this is Spanish Fort, Texas. To get to Nocona, we turn left, but we're going to explore Spanish Fort a little bit. So I'm going to turn right here. See in Spanish Fort. So I want to see the historical markers. You can tell there's people living here now, but it was much bigger, and the historical markers will talk about that. So we're gonna try to find pavement ends right here. We're gonna try to do what we can do with this bike. We'll do some gravel. Historical marker. All right. The historical marker is out there. Oh, here it is. One right here. Look at this old building. Look at that. That is old. All right. Chisholm Trail. So this is on the Chisholm Trail. This is Spanish Fort, y'all. Spanish Fort, Texas. We're gonna read this historical marker. Ugh. All right. The site of the 1759 Teovaya victory over Spain. Colonel Diego Ortiz Parilla, commandant of Presidio San Saba, near the later site of the Minard, I don't know what that means, had grave Indian problems in 1759. Priests and others were killed in Comanche attacks on the mission San Saba. Comanches and their friends were allied to the Frenchmen, who were trading deep in Spanish domain. Parilla wished to whip the Comanches and expel the French. With 380 soldiers and Indian support, to a total of 600 men, he left San Antonio in August. A victory over some Tonkawas on the Brazos as he marched north gave him false confidence. When he arrived at this site in October, he saw the Red River forming a moat around a fort. His Apache Native Americans that were working for him tried in vain to span the river, to cross the river and invade the fortified Teovaya. These Native Americans, Teovaya village, he saw 14 or more Frenchmen. A French flag was flying. Indians played drums and fife and had plenty of guns and ammunition. He bombarded the fort with cannons, but after losing 52 men in a span of a 4-hour battle, he was glad that nightfall gave him a chance to withdraw and escape. He was pursued for many days as he retreated to Presidio San Saba, which he reached on October 25th of 1759. The Teovaya Indians were later known as the Wichitas and continued to resist white men until the 1870s. Fascinating. So, I hate to ride, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't be riding my bike on this grass because it's got stickers in the grass. So there's another historical marker over there. I guess I'll just get off my bike and go read what it says. We wanted to come to Spanish Fort to really get a good look at it. So I'll get off my bike, walk over there, clean off some of these burrs off of my tires. Lean my bike up against this historical marker. Gotta lock out my leg. All right, y'all, we're gonna go look at this historical marker. Where this is the Chisholm Trail. You got the Red River like right over there, so they would continue on, I guess, like that way and go across the Red River. But this is where the Native Americans lived. And this is Spanish Fort. And we're gonna read this historical marker. It's got a picture of a Native American. So the town of Spanish Fort occupies the site of an ancient Teovias Indian village, scene of first severe defeat in Texas of Spanish troops by Indians in 1759, named Fort Theodoro in 1778 by Mezieres in honor of Theodoro de Croix, commander of the interior provinces of Mexico. Permanent white settlement began in this vicinity after 1850. Let the grandeur of the pioneer be discerned in the safety he has secured, in the good he has accomplished, in the civilization he has established, erected by the state of Texas in 1938. So that's when they erected this here. It's been a long time since they erected this historical marker right here. So, all right, so we've got, you can come here and have a picnic, but right here is where the Native Americans lived. 6,000 they estimate. So later it became the Chisholm Trail, crossing into Oklahoma. And my guess is this is like a saloon or something that people got shot in. I don't know, but I know they would have gunfights and card games, and people would get murdered a lot here because there were some wild outlaws that liked this place. Coming over between here and Indian Territory, wild area, unregulated. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I got any stickers in my tires. I'm just gonna kind of brush them off. Here we go. That tire brushed off. Brush off the back tires. All right. And I get back on my bike. I'm trying to go through town a little bit on the gravel. But yeah, this would be a neat place. You got a picnic table right there by the trees, and this old building is awesome. Very old. Hopefully we can go through this neighborhood, the community, a little bit without getting attacked by dogs. We're gonna try to anyway. All right, mounted back up on my bicycle, and we're gonna try to see some of the gravel development on the gravel roads. Pavement ends here, so we're just gonna make a loop through town if we can. The gravel may be too loose. It may not allow us to do what we want to do, but we're gonna try. State maintenance ends here. All right, we're gonna try to ride on this gravel using my hybrid bike. I think it can handle it. Yeah. So we've read the historical markers. Now we're gonna see modern day Spanish Fort. Who lives here? How are they living? Maybe we'll see some old stuff, more historical buildings. I don't know. Maybe we'll spot the cemetery. Got a functioning house right here though. Oh, that's cool. Got their welding set up right there. Spanish Fort, Texas. These hay bales smell really good. Got chicken house over here to the right. Yeah, I would say this is Main Street, Spanish Fort in 2021. Riding through Spanish Fort. It used to be much bigger than it is now. Much bigger. Pretty flowers. Antique tractors. Oh no, got a dog behind me. Oh. All right, now we're back on the road that we came into Spanish Fort on. So we're gonna go back over here to this T and turn left and head towards Nocona. Yeah, Spanish Fort, they've got a fire department, rural fire department. So we're gonna turn left. Maybe we'll see the cemetery or some more historical buildings. All right, here's their school. Spanish Fort has a school. It was closed down in the 1970s, but it was established, it says right over the door, it says 1924 Spanish Fort High School, right there. So that's it, that's their old high school. There's a bunch of goats running around in the schoolyard around it, but that's interesting. So we could probably climb the fence and go inside and explore. I know there's people who've done that, but it's just pretty much run down with goat poop, and there's nothing impressive about that school anymore. But I do know, because it says over the door 1924. That's when that school was built. Closed down in the 70s. So there we have the Spanish Fort School. Prairie View is in 10 miles, Nocona in 17 miles. So I didn't see the Spanish Fort Cemetery. Maybe it's up ahead. We'll keep an eye out for it for a while, but we are still in Spanish Fort area. All right, here's the cemetery up here on our left. Spanish Fort Cemetery, or at least Spanish Fort Cemetery Road. That's what this sign says. We may get off and have a look at that cemetery. Yeah, I see it. I see it. So we'll probably have a look at it. All right, so it says it was established in 1937 or 39, but I think there's another cemetery. This isn't the only one. There's an older one back here if we go down this road. Spanish Fort Cemetery Road. I'm gonna try going down it. See what we can find. It's pretty rough gravel, pretty loose. So I gotta be careful on this hybrid. But if we can navigate through over these rocks for a little ways, I think we'll get a better idea of what this cemetery is like. Oh yeah. So this cemetery, there's two cemeteries. There's this new one. We've also got an old one back here. And that's what I'm interested in seeing. The old Spanish Fort Cemetery where all the outlaws are buried. People, cowboys killed in shootouts after card games and saloons. They're all buried down here. But I sure would like to have my mountain bike right here because it's some rough going, rough rolling, rough riding. Looks like we got a little bridge to cross to get to this cemetery. Awesome. As long as I can avoid getting a flat tire, that's the goal. Oh, we're riding on some grass though here, so there could be some burrs, sand burrs that could get into our tires. Awesome. Ooh, it's kind of creepy. Spanish Fort Cemetery. Man, oh man. Ugh. Yeah, this is an old cemetery right here, y'all. Sure is. Sure is an old one. All right, so I'm gonna get off my bike again. Yep, getting on my bike for a second. We're gonna look around a little bit. Need to lock out my leg. And we're gonna look around this cemetery a little bit. Not too long, because I'm on a schedule, so can't do too much. Some flowers over here. Yep, looks like my camera lens is looking good. So we're gonna walk around, look at a few of these tombstones, see if we can read them. This one's knocked over. There's probably plenty of them that are knocked over, but this person died in 1885. Another one died in 1885. 1893. Old cemetery. Man, some of these grave markers, can't hardly even read them. This person died in 1876, 1879. Some of these grave markers like that, you know, just sandstone people erected, and there's no way to tell what it really said. So little stones like that. You got this one laying on the ground here, a sandstone. See if we can read what it says. Something in the early 1800s, it looks like they died. But yeah, Spanish Fort, the old cemetery of Spanish Fort right here. These old marble tombstones. That person died in 1918, so not so. Some of these aren't so old. John Draper, Connor, 1919, 1917. Some of this new stuff, you know, is pretty legible, but a lot of it's just so old. I'm sure like the sandstones have just eroded into the earth, turned to sand again. So anyway, I just wanted y'all to get a kind of a look at this cemetery. Can't read. Yeah, I can. It's like person died, I don't know, it said they're born in the 1800s. I can't tell when they died. So this is the old Spanish Fort Cemetery, y'all. Whoa, almost tripped. The old Spanish Fort Cemetery. Oh man. Got a piece of spider web hanging from my hand. Just got it off and that floated up into the tree. Yeah, I wish I had time to read all these grave markers, y'all, but I just don't. I just got to keep going or I won't make it back before dark. So that's the goal. To get back before dark. All right, so we were able to explore all the Spanish Fort stuff that I wanted to. Or at least see it. We didn't explore it thoroughly. Cemeteries, you know, there's just so many people buried and everyone's got a lifetime of stories. We don't even have time to read who's buried there because there's so many amazing people. Oh, I mean, there's got to be amazing people in there. I don't know. Okay, so I got to get back on the bike and get out of here. If we can get out of here without a flat tire, it'll be a miracle. But we really need to if we want to make it back before dark. All right, I'm back on the bike. Bye-bye, Spanish Fort Old Cemetery. Let's go, y'all. I knew we were going to run into some gravel, but there's just so little of it that couldn't justify taking the gravel bike on all that pavement to get here. When I know the pavement bike can handle just a little bit of gravel. So far so good. Huh. You gotta watch the ground here. Every little rock could make me fall, so I've gotta be careful how I approach each one on the bicycle. Oh, we got some guys here visiting this cemetery right there. They came here on their motorcycles, exploring like I am. How are y'all doing? Yeah, I'm doing good. It's my first time in Spanish Fort. Yeah, there's another cemetery down this road. Did y'all know that? Yeah, it's an older one. Oh, it's like 200 yards from where you are to the gate. It's real interesting. Y'all take care. Yeah, they're exploring like I am, these guys on their motorcycles. This is a beautiful place to not only ride bicycles, but motorcycles too. So they didn't know about that other cemetery. Right, now back on the pavement, boys and girls. Now this may be all of Spanish Fort. We may have seen everything there is to see in Spanish Fort, but since I've never been here before, I'm not going to rule anything out. We may run into some more cool stuff up ahead that's officially in Spanish Fort territory. Spanish Fort Cemetery, the new part of the cemetery and the old part. We got to see it all. Yeah, reading that historical marker, I kind of struggled with some of the words because they're foreign words, you know, they're just foreign to me. And I wasn't even sure I was pronouncing them right because they're words from the Spanish language, you know, and I'm not familiar with Spanish history and really ancient Texas history, so I had to read some of those words slowly and I may not have pronounced them correctly. I apologize for that, but I was trying to do my best to get it right. Bonnie Mitchell Road to the left over here. That old cemetery has the people buried in it who ran this town when it was a stopping point on the Chisholm Trail. It also has a lot of people who just stopped and died there for whatever reason. There were a lot, like I said, a lot of murders and some suicides. So those are the first people to fill the cemetery. The first 40 or 50 people were all murders and suicides. At least Europeans, and then Native Americans, I don't know how they marked their graves or if they marked them or where they buried them. Just don't know. Well, this road is still paved. It's about as rural as a state highway can be, but it's plenty good for my bike. My bike tires are able to handle it just fine. So most road bikes couldn't handle this road quite as well as I could, just because my bike is, like I said, it's a hybrid, and so the tires are not nearly as skinny as a road bike, but they're a lot skinnier than a mountain bike, so they're just a lot faster on this than a mountain bike would be. But a road bike is so bumpy, you know, I might even be faster than a road bike because all these bumps would really force a road bike to take a hit. It'd be uncomfortable, and so you'd have to go slow. It's probably the optimum, the best bicycle choice for this type of road that I'm on right now. I'm using the best bike I could choose. Plus, I just don't have a road bike, y'all. Don't have one. I prefer to use a hybrid bike like this one as my road bike. That's how I do it. Got an oil derrick in this person's backyard right here. It's working right there. Kind of neat. Nice little house by the road. Oil country. That's probably what the, you know, after the Chisholm Trail dried up, I think oil production is what came in next. But I'm not sure how much that boosted the economy, because population definitely steadily declined after the Chisholm Trail dried up. Supposedly there's was like 40 people living in Spanish Fort, but it looks like there may be a few more than that to me. I mean, that was a few years ago. It looks like maybe a few people may have moved in or something since their last census. Okay, here's a Spanish Fort house right here. It's dilapidated, but I saw in another YouTube video somebody else made, they were exploring Spanish Fort, and they explored that house. I wouldn't recommend it because the floors are rotted out. They seem to be having quite a bit of trouble. But I tried to do as much research as I could about the Spanish Fort area before I came, which included watching what YouTube videos are online at this point in time, September 11th, 2021, and just reading historical accounts of the area, how it was established. The Teovaya Indians, they established Spanish Fort, and they lived here for over 50 years, maybe 75 years. And before them, you know, it's probably the Comanches, and who knows how long. I mean, hundreds of years. This is right along the Red River, and so the Red River was a super highway for the Native Americans, and they had settlements all up and down it. All these little creeks, as they meet up into the Red River, that's where they would build their settlements. So they go back pre-Columbus, you know, long way back. You can see why they felt this was their land when Europeans encroached upon it. They had been here since the dream time, you know, since before recorded history. Valley View Baptist Church. So this is a little unincorporated area called Valley View. I've noticed there's a lot of Valley Views in Texas, so there's a Valley View south of Gainesville. This place is called Valley View, where we're at. So we're just headed west right now. We've got the Red River over there to our north, and we're headed west along the Red River. And we'll do this for a while until we get the chance to head back south, and then we'll head straight towards Nocona. Pretty stretch of road right here. It's pretty flat. I like it. We've got a place over here where people are living. It looks in their RV, and they have a kind of a little canopy set up for just enjoying the outdoors, and some of those, two of those shipping containers. So you know, not everybody can live in a big fancy house. That's not a bad way to go, I don't think, especially if you can live in a place that's pretty out in the country like this. If you're gonna live in a pretty place, it makes sense to enjoy the outdoors, to me. If you don't have a big fancy house, well, you could just spend a lot of time outdoors. Nice little cabin right here. I like these gravel roads. I want to come and explore them at some point too. This is definitely further to the west than I normally, further to the northwest than I've been able to get and explore so far. It's great. I like it a lot. Keep hearing all these noises off in the bushes, you know, and it's oil equipment like this thing, pump jack going up and down, kind of hidden in the bushes. They're hidden all over the place. There's another one over here to my right. Another one right up here to the left, right next to the road. What? Oil field equipment all up in here. Pump jacks as far as the eye can see. And they're all working. They're all pumping oil, so I guess the prices of oil aren't that bad right now. The price of oil, probably not too bad. I don't know what it is, but I know when it's horrible, they turn these things off. They stop pumping. There's just oil production everywhere. I can see it through the trees. You can hear them. That one's squeaking. Little oil pump jack squeaking. Now we got the headwind and we're going up a hill. we're headed towards Nocona. I'm not sure, but I know we're headed south because the wind's in our face. We've got a historical marker 1 mile ahead on the left. I don't know if we're gonna stop and read it. I mean, if I risk getting stickers in my tire, you know, to get close enough to read it, then I'm just gonna pass it up. Well, we got the oil production out here. Cattle and oil. Fighting that headwind. Ugh. A grasshopper just hit me on the chest. Alright, so here's our historical marker on the left, but it's too far on the side of the road for me to read it. I have to get in the grass, and I don't want to get off my bike and in the grass because I could get stickers in my tires. So we'll try to figure out like what it is. It looks like it might be a Chisholm Trail marker, but we'll see what we can read from the pavement here. It's right there. That is a historical marker. So basically a monument, and it has a lot of writing on it. What does it say? I can't tell. Maybe something about Montague County. But we're just gonna have to save that for another day, or come back in a car when we have time. So that is that. Boy, I hope we're on the right path. Like I said, I'm not using my phone to navigate, so just kind of going off of what I think is right, but I haven't seen any signs in a while, so we may be pretty lost, y'all. It sure is a beautiful place to be lost if we are. What I'm looking for is a sign that says Nocona. I'm hoping this road takes us to Nocona. Hoping we didn't pass our exit for Nocona. Hoping we weren't supposed to take a turn back there further. I guess I could have asked her for directions, but I'd rather just keep going and just see what's gonna happen. Trees to our left, right there, wild plum patch. Yeah, I can see why the Native Americans like this area, because it's open plains, and it's like kind of where the open plains meet up with the forest, but this is more in the plains really, and so it's right where there would be buffalo, good buffalo hunting right here. That's why they were able to sustain groups of over 6,000. Gotta have a lot of buffalo to slaughter year round. And that's what they had here, because of this grassland. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Going up the hill against the wind. I see a water tower way up in front of us, and that's got to be Nocona. So we know we're headed into a south wind. We're headed in the right direction for that to be the right place. So that's good. I think we're on the right track. Man, look at all the oil pump jacks in this yard right here. By these cedar trees, a lot of oil pump jacks. Yeah, they're right back there, but we won't be able to see them when we're right next to them. Those trees will be in the way. We can see them right now. Now they're hidden behind the cedar trees. All right, we got a nice little slight downhill that helps us fight this wind. It's good. Before it turns into uphill again. It's all a big roller coaster. Nice cattle out there in this field. They're watching me. It's like Black Angus. Oh, this is a pretty cool area. It just looks real awesome with this grass, like native grassland. We got the water mills. We got 3 of them. One at this house, one at that house, and one out there on the hill. Those old water windmills. I like it. Hill blocks view. Highway intersection. the hill did block an awesome view. Now we got a good view right here. Now that we're on top of the hill, you can see pretty far. Pretty far. Cunningham Road. It's a gravel road. Right there. They're behind a fence, that's good. Dog. Prairie View School right here. Prairie View ISD. Says it's an exemplary school district. Interesting. So they've got a field right here, like I guess their football field or soccer field. And those bleachers are made out of rock. And then up on top of there, there's a playground for kids. I guess it looks like a functioning school to me. Now we'll go downhill and then we got a long uphill. Up and down, up and down. I see a sign for Nocona. So now I know with certainty that we are on the right track. It says Nocona is in 7 miles. So we're doing right. We're doing the right thing, going the right way. Nocona is 7 miles, so we just got to keep plugging, y'all. Lugging up this hill, that's good motivation to get up the hill knowing we're going the right way. All right. Fight that wind and that hill's hill. Great exercise. So 7 miles, so we get to Nocona, and we're going straight into the headwind to get there. And then once we get there, we'll get on Highway 82 and head back to the east, and then we'll have, I think it'll be just a crosswind, so maybe some headwind, but we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. It won't be like this though. It won't be a straight up headwind. Yeah, it's gonna be a crosswind with a slight headwind component, but it's not gonna have as large of a headwind component as this right here. Stop pedaling. It only takes a second or two and you almost come to a complete stop. Lets you know that your power is what's doing it. That's what's moving you. Without you, you would stop instantly. Especially right here going up this hill. leg and a half power. Finally to the top of this hill. I'll look back on that and see what we just did. Oh yeah, it's a big one. Not incredibly steep, but big. Long. Yeah, we got a lot of climbing, a lot of hills from here on out. Panther Creek Ranch. Looks like they've got belted Galloways because they're bulls up on the edges of the top of that gate. We got the white patch in the middle. That's the belted Galloway breed of cattle. You always got to look back over your shoulder on roads like this. Pretty and desolate as they are, somebody could come up behind me and not expect a cyclist. I gotta be ready for that. Watch it. So up ahead we've got an intersection. We go straight, we get to Nocona. If we turn left, we get to Lake Nocona. So it's been a long time since I've been to Lake Nocona, and I really don't remember a whole lot about it. But it's a pretty big, nice lake. I remember that. But I haven't been there since I was a kid. Not going there today. No Kona. We're going straight. Nocona, 5 miles. That guy passed us was a sheriff's deputy. But yeah, we're not making progress as fast as I would like. The last sign said 7 miles, now 5 miles. So, oh, going uphill against the wind, it's slow going. So we only made it 2 miles since the last Nocona sign. That is progress. You gotta remember it is progress. Nice gate entrance to this property here. 2 really fancy gates. Every time I climb a hill like this, I tell myself, just one more, just one more. And I make it to the top, and there's temporary relief as I go down the other side. Then it starts all over again. It's never just one more. But at least I'm re-energized by the time it's time to attack the next one. Plowed field over here to our left, pretty sandy soil, but it is freshly plowed, ready to grow some crops. Maybe they already have planted, they're just maybe just waiting for the rain. There may already be seeds under this soil. It's kind of like what it looks like to me. Topping another hill. Finally. Always a struggle against the wind. People got cows in their front yard. Cows everywhere. Climbing a hill though, and I've got somebody right behind me. He's got to be careful coming up over this hill. Nocona Bull Fest, May 8th, 7:30. I guess it's a rodeo. Yeah, it's a rodeo. All right, we topped another hill, or we're about to top it. One hill closer to Nocona. I was really hoping the wind would have died down by now, but it's picked up. It's really picked up. It's just my luck as a cyclist, you know, the wind picks up when it's a headwind, and then when it's a tailwind, no, it doesn't do that. You don't see stuff blowing on the fences, all the grass bent over, helping me. No, it's always hurting me. So, makes me stronger. That's okay. There's a reason for everything. Somebody wants me to be strong. That's why it's like that. Hoban Road. It's the Hoban Road. We gotta be coming into Nocona. These houses. It's gotta be Nocona. Although there's no sign yet that says Nocona. Neat little house. Man, that headwind. Oh man, a lot of hill climbing against the wind. We got looks like an old motel being renovated right here. Guys working on it, throwing stuff in there. This has got to be Nocona, y'all. I haven't seen a sign yet, but it seems like it's been 5 miles since since we saw the last Nocona sign that said it was in 5 miles. So it's got to be Nocona. Montague Eagles, Nocona flag. Ugh. So we're just riding on into Nocona. Like we own the place, because we do. At least we own the road. It's public. We own the road we're riding on right now. All right, so now here's the city limits sign right here on our right. It says Nocona city limits, population 3,033. All right, good deal. So now we're officially in Nocona. Chief Nocona, father of Kawana Parker. Chief Nocona didn't know where he was born. He didn't know when he was born. He was just a chief, you know. I mean, I don't know his story, but I do know a few things about him, and one is that he didn't know where he was born or when. They know when he died, of course, but not where he was born. When and where he died, they know that. When and where he was born, nope. And my guess is, you know, with Native Americans, that just wasn't a priority. It's like, here I am. It doesn't matter where I'm born. I'm born somewhere in the wild parts of the United States. Nice garden. Nocona Middle School back there. So we're going up a hill. Kids on bicycles to our left. Ugh. Thank you. Not sure what he said, but it sounded like a compliment. So I said thank you. Right, coming into Nocona, I see Highway 82 up ahead. Running kind of low on water, but I think I can make it. But if I see a water hose that's easily accessible, I'm going to fill up one more bottle. Now we're topping our last hill before we come into downtown Nocona. to Nocona right down the main street, it looks like. Wow, Nocona is a little bigger than I thought. You know, there's more stores downtown than I knew. I just didn't even know about. I don't recall ever coming down this street. There's honoring their football players. Kinds of activity in downtown Nocona, honoring their, looks like softball and volleyball players and football players. So these are volleyball players right here. Pictures on the light posts. The boot store of Nocona. Right here is a boot store. I like that bronze horse, or statue of a horse. Nocona Indians. Well, we got a lot of cars behind us. I need to get over across the street. All right, now I'm gonna cross over here. We need to figure out how to get on down the road. This is, I believe, Highway 82. Yeah, that's what it is. This is Highway 82. So we need to head towards, back to St. Joe. We're gonna run into a lot of big hills between Nocona and St. Joe. So it's not an easy ride, but we know it's the final stretch of this ride. So it's good to know. I got one bottle of water left, and I think that'll do. I think I'll just take that one bottle of water and see if I can make it to St. Joe on it. I think that's enough. I guess we'll turn in the parking lot here at the old Nocona Boot Company, now converted to a brewery. So I'll have a look at a lot of people in there drinking, enjoying nice brew, nicely brewed brew. There it is. There's a picture of Chief Nocona right here. So they're spelling Nocona N-O-K-O-N-A. My guess is if Chief Nocona didn't know when he was born or where he was born, he probably didn't know how his name was spelled either, so it could probably go either way. N-O-K-O-N-A or N-O-C-O-N-A, which is how this town is spelled, with the C. So we still are going into a headwind. It's not as bad as earlier because it's got a big crosswind component to it. But it is, yeah, look at that. See that flag? It's like it changed direction on me or something. It is a headwind. Man, I thought it was gonna be mainly crosswind, but looking at that flag, it looks like it's mainly headwind. Yeah, that's headwind. Oh well. Now we're going up, but it is like such a big roller coaster. Uh-oh, we got some big dogs over here. Big Great Dane. You're a happy dog, aren't you? You want to run out in the highway after somebody just because he's on a bicycle. No, he doesn't. That's good. Good for all parties involved, Mr. Dog. Oh man, so now we're about to top the first hill coming out of Nocona. And as you can see up ahead, there's more. There's a real big one in front of us, way up there. The last one you can see, it's way up there. We will get it. I just need to hydrate. My last bottle of water here. But this isn't really water, it's electrolyte mix. So I need the electrolytes for those hills because you're working so hard to get up them, you can cramp up, and the electrolytes really help to prevent that from happening. Really help a lot. If I had just been drinking water all this time, I would probably be cramping up pretty bad by now. So especially with these hills. So electrolytes are a key component to a successful bicycle ride through hills like this. All right, this hill is going to be tough because we're really going into a headwind, and it's a steep, tall one. Oh, we're making it up the hill, slowly but surely. Oh, speak of the devil. We're not up the hill, we're just, it's like a false peak. I couldn't see the next peak behind it, so we're still working. At least we'll get to level out a little bit before we attack that next peak. The wind is what's unrelenting. Ha! You get to the top of a hill like this and then the wind blasts you at the top. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. Ha! It's just tough ride, this stretch here. Ha! Right in the face. Little snake back here. I'm gonna see if it's alive. If it is, I might pick it up. And again, I might not. Looks like it's dead. Ugh. Looks dead, but we'll make sure. Might be alive. Touch it. Yeah, it's dead. Dead little snake. Another king snake, like the one I caught earlier this week. Prairie king snake. So now that I've caught one, I know what they look like. They look real similar to rat snakes, but they're a little different, and now I know how they're different, so I recognized it. Baby king snake, but it's dead. All right, we're topping this hill. Oh. Good deal, good deal. Straight into a headwind, and y'all can tell that it is a headwind because these flags up here to the left. We're gonna, as we get closer to them, you can see how this wind is blowing. But we're going downhill for a little ways and then a long uphill, long steady uphill. Overall, we're going uphill. Like it's just got to climb in this section. Let's see these flags, what they're doing. So yeah, we got a headwind, little crosswind component, but not much. Mainly a headwind. We're making progress now because this road right here is Dixie School Road, and it's at least it's probably a little over halfway at the little over halfway point, so we're making good progress. When I see this road, Dixie School Road, I know we're getting close to St. Joe, getting closer to St. Joe. Because I think people who live on Dixie School Road, they just say, yeah, I live in St. Joe. So that tells me it's probably closer to St. Joe than Nocona, than it is to Nocona. Or they say, yeah, I live right outside of St. Joe on Dixie School Road. So we're making good progress. We're gonna make it to St. Joe before sundown. That was the goal. As long as we don't get a flat tire. Knock on whatever we can knock on. That's when you want a wooden, I don't know if you'd want wooden handlebars, but if you need to knock on wood, and you don't want to get a flat tire, then you probably need something wooden to knock on. Hope we don't get a flat. But if we do, I can fix it. I even brought an extra tube today, so we don't even have to fix it, you can just replace it. Pretty cool rocks on top of this hill. You got a cross between them. Those rocks would be a cool place to walk up there and just sit down and eat lunch, I think. But you'd have to watch out for rattlesnakes. Pretty cool view from up there. Up the hill. another cool rock. Big old boulder. There's probably plenty of boulders up over that hill, just sitting on the ground. I like the view, this open pasture, these open pastures to our right. We've got kind of a neat formation right over here where the erosion has exposed the dirt below the grass. It's kind of interesting looking. Liquids now. I don't have any water or juice or electrolyte mix, nothing. I'm all out. So we've got at least one really big hill up ahead, and this is kind of a slow incline we're on right now, so we're not quite as close to St. Joe as I had hoped, but I think we'll get there without having to worry about cramping up too much, which is always a concern when you run out of liquid, but we made it most of the way. I think we'll make it the rest of the way without any problems. Got a rest stop area up here. I don't know if they got water fountains up there or not. Kind of doubt it, but they might. I'm not gonna go up there to check though. I'm just gonna keep chugging. Keep chugging until we get to St. Joe. Alright, this might be the last mighty hill before we come into St. Joe, but I don't know, it's just been such a roller coaster, up and down, I can't remember if it is or not. So we're just gonna climb it and hope for the best. Hope we can see St. Joe when we get to the top of it. Can't take too many more of these hills without anything to drink, so hopefully this is the last big one. The last big one. Oh, it's not. It's not. It's not. I already see the top of the next one. It's a lot higher than where we're at right now up there. So, well, maybe that's the last one. We just keep hoping on each one. Eventually we'll be there. Be in St. Joe. Getting worn out on these hills, but I'm just getting hungry. Like my muscles are running out of the nutrients they need, so hopefully we won't have to push them much longer, but we're gonna have to push them up at least this next hill. They're gonna have to push me up at least this next hill. It's a steep one, but I have a feeling, as I often do, that this is the last one. So we're gonna hit it hard. We're gonna be strong. We're not gonna complain. We're just gonna power up this thing. Said I wouldn't complain. Not gonna complain. But I am working hard. I'm just gonna say that. I'm working hard. Almost there, almost there. Paradise lost, huh? It's a house lost in the grass, that's for sure. All right, man, oh man, we're still climbing. Almost there. Got a good feeling about the top of this hill, like it is the last one. Oh my gosh. Just a feeling. Two chairs sitting out here. There's somebody over there cutting, trimming their tree. Almost to the top of the hill. Almost. I gotta get up out of my seat soon because my butt hurts. I'm sitting down. Can't stand up going up the hill, but I can stand up on top of the hill and going down hills. Oh, some blood circulation. Well, it's not our last hill, but that was a big one. The one in front of us. It doesn't look as big, but look at that flag. We got the headwind for sure. I'm feeling it. feeling that headwind. Oh man. Some people say that you should take down a tattered flag, but I say leave it up. It shows it's been out there working, it's still doing its job, still inspiring people. I kind of equate the flag to myself. I'm like, okay, well, do I want somebody folding me up and putting me away just because I'm missing a leg, or because I'm tired, because I'm not perfect, because I show some wear, you know, because I'm a warrior and I have battle scars? Is that the time to fold me up and put me away? No, it's not. So I'm out here putting in my best effort, and I see it as that flag is doing the same. All right, so we gotta attack this hill. Yeah, so tattered flag to me is like a tattered person. A tattered person, a person with a disability, wants to do all that they're capable of. I want to be all I can be, and I'm happy to be out here riding my bicycle, even though it's not as fast as I would be riding it if I had two real legs. I don't want society to say, oh, that guy, you know, he's not as useful as a perfect person, so let's just throw him away, not appreciate anything he does. Let's not hire him, let's not appreciate his accomplishments. You know, flag is the same way. It's a lot of flags have been hauled into war and they get bullet holes and shrapnel, and what's inspiring is when someone keeps holding that flag up, like, no, we'll never quit, you know. So that's what I see when I see a tattered flag. I see somebody that won't quit. And we can't all fly brand new flags, they wear out, you know. So if you fly a flag enough, it's gonna wear out. People who fly flags, they know you're gonna have worn out flags. And I think that was our last big hill. It looks like we got pretty much a straightaway to St. Joe. All right, now we're coming into St. Joe. We can turn off right here or not. I can't remember if there's a straight shot on pavement that's off the highway. Can't recall. Yeah, we got some pavement, so we're gonna get off the highway and try to take a pavement route to the downtown area of St. Joe, to the town square. Pretty bumpy pavement. That's okay. All right. Pavement here. Oh man. we can turn left here. Yeah, looks like we can. That's what we want to do, because this road, the road we just turned off of, would take us straight into, well, back onto Highway 82. We got some dogs out right here. Hopefully they won't be a problem for us. Scared the living daylights out of him just seeing us. St. Joe. All right, this street will take us right into the downtown square. We're just gonna go straight. Here we are, downtown St. Joe. I'm gonna ride around the square, or this little area in the middle of the square. Head of Elm, Chisholm Trail marker. Chisholm Trail. Pretty cool looking area. But we are done with this bicycle ride. We are done. We're gonna finish right where we started. Right here at the water trough. I don't know if that water faucet works or not, but if it does, I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all enjoyed joining me on this ride. We went 57 miles, climbed over 2,500 feet, and averaged 11.4 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for me considering all the headwind that we had to go into. So I appreciate y'all joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can join me on more amazing adventures like this one. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.